Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dan Stafford, and I am the host of Midwestern Geek in Cali. And I'm just going to spin over real quick to the infinity screen and make sure everything is rolling the way it should be. Okay, looks like I'm picking up audio here, which is what I'm basically checking for. And also, it looks like I have the infinity screen going and the webcam going, so y'all can see me down here in the corner. Hello. I am going to also real quick put on the screen the text banner here that lets you see what our website is, so you can visit us at www.midwesterngeekincali.com. All right, I'm going to go ahead and knock that off. I think that is 3 and 4. Yep, 3 and 4. So I may bring that back in a bit. But meanwhile, let's switch back over to the blog. I'm at midwesterngeekincali.blogspot.com. But MidwesternGeekInCali.com will get you right here. I also want to note that on the right-hand side over here under the links section, you can get to any of our spots on the web, Discord server, YouTube channel, etc. I'm thinking I'm going to modify the text colors in this theme because it's looking to me like that text color is a little difficult to read. So I think I'm going to darken that up a little bit. I will work on that a little later. For right now, also brief note, I got my CompTIA Network Plus, and so I've added that to my list of certifications. I have an CompTIA A+, an MCSA in Windows Server 2012, an MCSA in Windows 10. Yeah, they used to give those, and I have one, and also a CompTIA Network Plus, and I'm currently working on CompTIA Security Plus. I also have a lot of older certifications and more minor certifications as well. Won't go into those for right now, but that's not really what this is about. Today's episode is going to be what I call computer kindergarten. So I want to show folks a few of the things that you can do with a PC. Now, let's do a for instance here. I'm going to click on File Explorer and open up Windows File Explorer real quick. And we have here quick access, etc. All right, so I'm not going to dive too much into File Explorer. What I really want to do is go into what the mouse can do. So I am going to go over here to my C drive, and I'm going to make a brand new folder. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just make a folder, and we'll call it test. And I'm going to explain a little bit more once I get into the test folder here, where I can kind of unclutter the thing. All right, so we're in the test folder, and just anywhere in this open area here, I'm going to right click. What I want to point out with a right click is right click always gives you what are my options and choices. And then I can kind of go through and hover over things. Now that's another thing about the mouse. You can hover on things and see more. Right? By hover, I mean put your mouse on it and just let it rest there. Right? Put your mouse on view, just let it rest there. You get a whole list. And now if I come over here, I can kind of come over. None of this has any extras. You can tell by the arrows here that there's more under this, but I got this menu by right clicking. This is what my options or choices are. Now under here where these arrows are, if I hover, I have more things I can do. All right here I have new, and if you notice, if I hover over new, I can make a compressed zip folder, a Microsoft Excel worksheet, a rich text document, which would open up in Wordpad. By the way, every copy of Windows since way back in Windows 3.1 has included Wordpad for free. It's not Microsoft Word, but it's a stripped down kind of version of Word, and it works just fine. It doesn't have a whole lot of fancy doodads, but it does do just fine for creating documents and such. So if you don't have Office, you can always use WordPad. And to get to WordPad, you can just go down here into the search box and click in there and type Word, and you'll see WordPad come up. And then you can open it from there. It's really easy. Now, I'm going to just go ahead and make a new text document, and we'll just call this test doc. Okay. And now that I've typed in the name, I hit enter once to set it. Now, I want to show you what some of the things that the left mouse button can do, right? So right now we're dealing with the mouse. All right. The left mouse button is select it, one click. All right. One click and I selected that test document.txt. Okay. So if I double click, 2 clicks really quick, that opens it, right? And then if I left click and hold, I can move it, all right? When I let go of that left mouse button, right now, I have not let go of the left mouse button. I'm pressing it, and hanging on, and that lets me move this wherever. As soon as I let go of that left mouse button, though, it goes away. Now, I can't really move things around here. I could on my Windows desktop, though. But left click is pretty much select it, one click, do it, open it, 2 clicks, all right, and left click and hold, move it where I want it, okay. Right click is what are my options and choices. All right, with the right click, I can open it, I can print it, I can edit it, I can share it with Skype, I can add it to a 7-zip file because I have 7-zip installed on my computer. 7-zip is free though, so it's pretty nice. All right, I could sign and encrypt it, I can do all kinds of different things. I can look at the file properties, and when I want to do one of these things, guess what am I going to do? I'm going to use my left mouse button because left mouse button is do it. So I'll go left click on properties because I want to look at the properties, do it. Open up the properties of this thing. Okay, and I can see the properties and I can see who has permission to touch it. I can see details about the thing, etc. So left click is select it, double click to open up, and left click and hold to move. Right click is what are my options and choices. Okay. Now I want to point out that down here on the taskbar I only need one click. If I click on something twice down here, I'm going to open up 2 copies of the same thing. It doesn't always work out well. So you want to remember that on the taskbar, it's one click to open. You don't need to select something because if you notice, if I hover my mouse over something, oh, that's another thing about hovering we'll talk about. Hovering will oftentimes bring up a little box that tells you what something is. All right, if I hover over something, it tells me what it is. Okay, down here, just hovering over something selects it. I don't have to select it again by double clicking. Whereas up here, I have anywhere but the taskbar, for the most part, I have to double click. Now I could go over here and left click and I'm going to be, you know, on documents. So this is called the navigation pane over here. right? And this is the details pane. Over here where it shows what's all in there, that's the details pane. But on the left side, it is the navigation pane, and that stuff over here in this left column only takes one click. But when I'm in the details pane or on my Windows desktop, I need to double click to open something up. All right, so that is the mouse. Okay, left click, select it, open it, or do it, or move it if I press hold and then release when I've got it moved to where I want it to be. Okay, and I showed you about hovering. Okay, so now let's do a little more with hovering here. What I want you to pay attention to is what happens down here in this left corner of the screen. All right, I want you to see what's going on down here in this left corner of the screen. All right, so when I hover over a link, take a look down there. It's showing where this link is really going to go. All right, as soon as I hover over a link, you can see that in that bottom left corner down there. When I hover over the link, it shows me where that link is really going to go. So I need to pay attention to that. Now, another thing that I want to teach you while I'm on the subject of taking a look at what a web address is going to be that it's going to go to when you click on a link before you actually click on it. That's important. You might want to understand a little something about web addresses or uniform resource locators or URLs or domain name. They are web address. It really all means the same thing. Okay, so now let's say I want to go to news.google.com. This would take me to Google News. Oh, might help if I spelled news correctly. Okay, I want you to understand that whatever is before the .com, right? Whatever is before the .com, that's who really owns that website. All right, news.google.com is a subdomain of google.com. Google owns that. Google.com owns news.google.com. Now, if I turned around and did this differently, and I said, google.news.com. Now, news.com owns this website. Whoever is news.com, because it's really this last thing before the .com or .org or .net or .whatever is who really owns that. This would belong to news.com. So this is how people get faked out with websites really often. All right, pay attention, because if I want to go to Google News, I need to go to news.google.com. Okay, and see, now I typed .com twice and I went to somebody else's website. That's totally, who knows who that is, right? That could be bad news right there. Now I went to news.google.com and I got Google News. Now I can also use, for instance, mail.google.com, and I could go to Google Mail. Give me a second here. I have a little bit of an alarm going off, and that's nothing to worry about. It's just a time of day alarm I forgot to turn off. All right, or I could go to maps.google.com. That's because it kept all that. Now, but if I go to maps.google.com, that will take me to Google Maps. And now I can search a location on Google Maps. There are several subsets of Google that you can use, but the important point is the last thing is always google.com if it's something that belongs to Google. All right, be aware of that. So if I said go.abc.com, .com would be nice. All right, this is going to belong to abc.com. All right, so I'm really getting news from ABC if I go to go.abc.com. If I switch that around and I make it go.abc.com, or I'm sorry, abc.go.com, now that belongs to go.com. Or as I might as well say, gotcha.com, because that belongs to gotcha.com, not ABC. All right, so be aware of that when you're looking at websites. And when you're getting ready to click on things on the web, just be careful that you take a look down in that lower corner there and see where is this thing really going. All right, so just be careful with that. All right. Now, this is some computer basics that a lot of people just don't get taught. You know, everybody assumes you know it. So now I'm going to bring up something called Event Viewer, because I want to teach you about Event Viewer itself, but I want to teach you a little trick about columns. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open up some Windows application logs, for instance. And I'm going to let this is going to take a minute. If you look, there's 33,354 events. Now, your computer records things that happens on it in Event Viewer. But that's not the important point here. This is stuff like if you're trying to troubleshoot the computer, you might go looking through all these events to try to figure out what the heck happened that broke my computer or something like that. This is more for the computer professionals to try to troubleshoot when things go wrong with the computer. Now I'm waiting for all these events to load, and it's going to take a couple of minutes for that many events to load up. But once this list fills in here in the middle, I want to point out something that you can do with columns and a lot of things in Windows. This sometimes works in Excel, spreadsheets, it works in multiple places, but wherever you have columns of information. So I'm just waiting for that to show up. Let's see. Maybe I can go a little faster. There we go. All right. So we got a lot less events in here, so it just ran quicker to load that. Okay. But if you'll notice here now, I have several columns of information here. And what I can do with these is click on the title, and I can sort the columns from top to bottom in numerical alphabetic order. Right? It will do numeric first and then alphabetical. Right? So if I click again, it's going to move the newest thing to the top. Click another time, the newest thing will be at the bottom. But it will also sort that column in alphabetical order. So I just want to make sure that you understand that. I could also sort it on this column, but since everything is information, it's not really going to do a whole lot. Right now, the most pertinent one here is the date and time. But if you have a long list of things, try and click on the header to make it alphabetical. It might make things easier to find. All right. So that's one way to sort data in Windows. So that's some of the real important stuff is just what to do with your mouse. Left click, choose it, do it, or move it. Right click, what are my options and choices? That's just the way it works. Okay, and then hovering over things to see where links go, paying attention to what the thing is that pops up in that lower left corner to tell you where the link is really going to go, because it doesn't matter what it says in this text here. It matters where it's coded to go in the background. And you can see here, if I click on this, it's going to go to a Facebook group. Okay, so just some basic computer kindergarten things that everyone assumes that that not everybody gets shown or taught. So that's pretty nice. Another time I'll do something regarding bookmarks in Chrome for right now. But I just wanted to say it's been a while since I've been here. I'm still studying hard, so I'm not going to be around that often. But I wanted to stop in and say hi, leave a few useful tips, and on that note, I'm going to call this episode done, and I'll switch back to the infinity screen for a minute, and let's go ahead and make the camera full size here so I can say a proper hello to everyone. Let's go. There we go. Now, I'd just like to say, may there never be a rogue wave in your coffee mug. All right. And happy Vulcan fingers to you from the Agent of 42. And I hope everyone has a wonderful Memorial Day. And remember, it's about our fallen heroes. All right. So I'd like to say thanks for stopping in and watching. And stay safe out there, everyone. I'll be back as soon as I can, and looking forward to doing more shows. Take care. Oh, yeah. Let's see here. What about stopping by to visit at www.midwesterngeekandcali.com? And if you would, please stop by and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Midwestern Geek and Cali. All you got to do is search Midwestern Geek and Cali on YouTube and you'll find us. On that note, thank you everyone. Have a wonderful Memorial Day, and I'll be talking to you again soon.